Hello, everyone. It's me, Teju, APF Community Manager, and your host today. Would like to welcome you all and thanks for joining us and hope you all are doing great. It's pleasure to meet you all on our very first community launch event for Germany. Before we proceed further, I would like to speak about Agile PeopleOps global community. Our vision is to create a thriving global community for learning, sharing, and implementing new practices in people operations. The three core Agile PeopleOps global community attributes are connect, collaborate, and co-create, that we call it as 3Cs. We believe that community is an integral part of building a thriving ecosystem in industry experts, thought leaders, practitioners, and stakeholders, and building long-term relationships to orchestrate the growth of Agile PeopleOps to greater heights through collaboration and co-creation. The intent is to create the social fabric to harness collective intelligence and practice new learnings. So it was about the introduction of our global community. Without any further delay, I would like to introduce our country ambassador, Boglarka. She is our certified PeopleOps coach from Agile PeopleOps. Her motto is lead the change, live the change, and love the change. She believes in core strength of people that they can make positive impact for a better and balanced future. Her mission is to partner organization and people in transformation with coaching and empathetical, purpose-oriented communication. Her international and professional experiences in business, IT, agile HR mindset, coaching, and community building drive her to bring people together and thrive for individual and common goals. And she would be one of our speaker today. And I would like to introduce another speaker of today's session, Sarika Gupta. She is PeopleOps Director and Coach at Cultural Agents. As a human-centered leader, she is passionate about elevating the people's experience within the company and continuously strives to leverage a constructive culture between and across diverse distributed teams. Sarika loves to use her mentoring and coaching toolkit to bring the best out of people. So without any further delay, let me hand over the session to our first speaker, Boglarka. Boglarka, the stage is yours.
Thank you very much, Teju. Thank you for the introduction. And I warmly welcome everyone in today's webinar to unlearn HR and to learn Agile PeopleOps. We will have exciting topics such as current business realities. We will compare the traditional HR with Agile people operations. We will talk about the paradigm shift, APF Manifesto, and values and value realizations. When we use the word or abbreviation APF, it stands for Agile People Operations Framework. So let us start. Please, Teju, will you move to the next slide? Our world around us changes continuously, and probably we see on ourselves and on our around us in the environment that it is getting more rapid, uncertain, unstable, and we can characterize the business landscape also with this uncertainty, and we use an abbreviation VUCA to better describe it, like volatility, uncertainty, ambiguity, complexity. And it means that we don't always have the right information. It is very difficult to predict what the outcomes of our activities, and very difficult to analyze situations, the trends, and not easy to plan for the future. Teju, please. But what can we do? And especially in HR area, what can we do then? From great resignation to great imagination, we can go. The great imagination means that In HR, we can reimagine, reinvent, or re-architect the way how we work, how we approach the people, the customers, and their use, and how we see the work around us and the workforce. So from Great Resignation, leaving behind what we did before, we can move forward by finding new solutions to deliver values to customers. And customers, here I'm talking about stakeholders, business, clients, and employees, and provide values to our customers and a better and a good experience. To emphasize what is necessary for the future to be done, I like to use George Percy's prediction. One of his predictions is that in HR, it is necessary to upskill the HR team and organize it around agile design and delivery with continuous innovation and continuous improvement to ensure better employee experience, recruitment, considering also the multi-generational career paths. And when we are talking about expressions and HR, the expression human resources is outdated, and the workforce is not anymore, could be considered as resources. It is better if we use terms like assets, which gives values and competitive advantage to the organizations. So instead of human resources, some other terms or titles or department titles could be used, and organization members are not resources anymore, but giving competitive advantage to organizations. So rebranding is necessary, and it started already. Instead of human resources, some departments are already called using terms people operations, people ops, human capital. Instead of human resource managers, people operations officers are managing the teams, and in certain companies, to emphasize the people orientation, use chief heart officer or chief amazement officer position titles, to more emphasize that they care about the people, the employees, and the purpose is in their name. Let me compare the traditional HR with the people operations. What are the main differences? The traditional HR mostly can see as tactical, who is executing tasks, who is informed about the decisions, rather reactive, narrowed, and limited, while people operations have a great role in strategic decisions. They are involved, they are consulted, they are proactively creating programs to help the business and the organizations grow and to provide values to the customers. They take a holistic view on the wider business, and they use tools and processes to address issues. Tejubir, please. Thank you very much. And I'm going to give a couple of examples And to emphasize a little bit more what we are going to talk about today, a great bestseller book was written by Laszlo Bock, who was an executive and head of people operations at Google. And already in this title, you can see that he thinks that there are great practices and examples and insights from inside Google, which transforms how you lead and live. And this book is about the talent management, the recruitment, empowerment of the people, which leads all the behavior changes, examples, which leads to successes. Another example from Buffer compares the traditional HR with people operations, and it emphasizes the difference that if old HR is about managing rules and policies, then people operations is about designing work where you want to be. You want to be there, you want to be engaged, and you want to be proud of what you do. And you have probably heard the word agile, and maybe from the informatic area, but we would like to talk about agile a little bit from a broader aspect. And agile helps organizations to provide value to the customers in a way that they use a mindset that individuals and teams cultivate this mindset with an intentional behavior change. And it is really needed when there are unforeseen changes and radical changes around us, and to sustain the values and to respond optimally to unexpected events, and to make decisions about how to build and deliver products and services in the future. So agility is a mindset, and lean is an important approach. Together with agility, it focuses on reducing non-value-added activities. So the focus is on the value and not on non-value-added activities in order to achieve operational excellence by eliminating so-called waste. So for example, waste can be a waiting time, delay, overproduction, failures. So when we are talking about HR areas or an end-to-end recruiting process, it could be a waiting time if a potential employee is waiting 2 months for the decision. But how could organizations and teams and individuals take on this journey and to move to an agile mindset and approach the lean processes? First of all, continuous learning, which gives you a growth mindset, is very important. Which means that learning is not just about getting certifications, but also learning from experience at your job, learning from others, learning by probing, and cultivating a passion for learning is a key message to put effort to achieve mastery and to succeed. The human-centered approach is also very important. How I mentioned before that already in the expressions, people orientation and mentioning people and listening to the employees' feedback is very important, and gaining deeper understanding of the customers, the users, the individuals and teams, approaching people with empathy, compassion and rationality is very important. And agile, lean practice, daily value delivery by reducing waste with the right behaviors, learning and deliberately focusing on the outcome is very important in this journey. And thank you very much. I'd like to hand over the presentation now to Sarika.
Thanks, Bhogalaka. Thanks a lot. Hi, everyone. So I hope all of you must have got some kind of understanding of agile and lean and that paradigm shift that Bhogalaka spoke to you about. Now let's get some understanding about APF, right? She has already shared the complete form, full form of APF. So Agile People Operations LLC is the name of this organization, which is based out of USA and is elite partners to Culture Legends. Now this organization has come up with world's first people operations framework called Agile People Operations Framework, and thus the name of the organization, it's called APF, right? So APF, what it does, it actually enables HR teams to intentionally adopt a more agile mindset, right? What exactly agile mindset is, we'll talk about it in detail in coming slides. So when we talk of Agile People Operations Framework, we emphasize on two things. First, on the transformation from traditional HR to Agile People Operations practices. And secondly, that it is a unified process. And Bhogalaka has already shared a lot on what and how is traditional HR different from people operations and how people and organizations have started changing their designations, which are more people operations friendly. So let's talk about the second thing. The second thing I would like to draw your attention to is the word unified. So when we say it's a unified process, what does it indicate? It indicates that it provides guidance to team activities. It integrates teamwork with individuals' work. And thirdly, it measures and monitors the activity. So you can say all in all, it tells you how to make things work the agile way. Right. In this framework, APF, Agile People Operations Framework, it's tried and tested and implemented successfully in companies with certified professionals in countries like USA, India, South Africa, Middle East, South America, Europe, Hong Kong. Right, from APF side, we offer certain role-based certification programs, something, Bhogalaka lipped up. Please excuse me if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly, but that is what is written on my screen, right? Something that you were asking, right? What is it that we could do? What is, yeah, right? So here is the answer to your question. So from APF side, we offer certain role-based certification programs for those who would like to take up a career in the field of talent acquisition and want to learn things the agile way. For them, we have APF Talent Champions program. And this is for level professionals. This is for recruiters, right? And for those who would like to go ahead and take up a career in the field of generalist profile, in the field of people operations or human resources, so to say, right? For them, we have APF specialist program. Both these programs are our entry-level programs. They are completely instructor-led. There are 3 to 4 hours of daily training sessions that they have to go through. And post these training sessions, we usually, last for around 3 to 4 days, depending on the availability of the trainees. And post that, they have to undergo an examination. And once they pass that examination, they are being certified. Right? So these are the entry-level courses that we have. Then the next level comes, which is that of a Scrum Master. Now, Agile, if we talk of Agile has been there since more than 2 decades in the field of information technology. But somewhere around 2010, HR also woke up to this fact that this is something which is doing wonders in IT. So why not inculcate it in human resources too? So at that time, Agile was incorporated in human resources. So when we talk of this term, Scrum Master might be alien to so many of you, but Scrum Master is actually another name for a team leader. Right. So when we talk of this certification, APF Scrum Master certification, the next level that we have, once a person completes this entry-level course, then the next level comes is that of a Scrum Master. We have a separate Scrum Master course for talent champions and separate for specialists. So this is the second level that we have, and then comes the APF coach program, which actually caters to a much higher level of professionals in the field of HR, which could be vice presidents, directors, consultants, and coach agents. And our APF coach program is certified by International Coaching Federation. So that was all about APF. In case you want to know more about this thing, you can actually go ahead and visit the website. Teju, have you shared the link to the website in the chat? If not, please do that so that people get that ease of, linking to this website.
Yes, I will share it.
Teju, thanks. Fine. If you would like to learn more about the certifications, just go ahead and click on that link, which Teju is sharing with you very shortly. And you can even talk to Bogalaka and Teju post this session. Right? We'll be more than happy to answer any of your queries regarding any of the certification programs that we offer. All right. Could you please change the slide, Teju? Okay. So now let's take a stepwise look into details. Let's come to Agile Manifesto first. So our manifesto is written statement outlining what we actually stand for and how we plan to effect that change that we have been talking about so far. So Agile Manifesto basically strongly advocates 4 aspects: team of teams over traditional hierarchies, growth mindset over fixed mindset, coaching culture over command and control, and trans-cultural competence over cultural competence. Will take a deeper look into each and every aspect of this. Could you please change the slide, Teju? Thank you. Now let's come to the very first manifesto, which is team of teams. Now let's talk about a hierarchical format. A hierarchical format is the basis of most of the organization charts that you must also be working with the same organization. It's organized into a pyramid-like structure. It's wider at the bottom. It gets narrower as we reach the top. And this kind of structure comprises of executives, directors, managers, in order from highest level to the lowest level in the chain. And this is by and far most widely used structure and creates clear boundaries between team members. On the other hand, when we talk of team of teams, so there are various teams coming together and collaborating and working together to realize organization goals. That is what team of teams is all about. So it's kind of a network of teams, you can say. Let's understand this thing with an example. For example, an auto manufacturing company is there and it's trying to come up with a cost-effective, fuel-efficient electric car. So a team, comprising of representatives from design department, production department, hardware and software systems, business department, marketing department, people operations, accounts department, and so on and so forth. They get together and work towards this shared goal. And this shared goal, team of teams, why is it so effective? Why is it that we advocate team of teams so much? Because here, there is a trust that each and every team members have within each other. And they work towards a shared purpose, which is called shared consciousness. And unlike traditional hierarchy, team of teams allows employees to take responsibility and authority to make their own decisions. And there's a very beautiful book written by Stanley McChrystal. This fellow is retired from US Army and he has written a book on team of teams. wherein he describes, how he transformed the slow-moving bureaucratic task force into agile, adaptable network of teams, which are again united by a shared consciousness, trust, and decentralized decision-making that we have talked about just now. Now, this fellow, Stanley McChrystal, he was fighting against Al-Qaeda to eliminate a terrorist leader. His name was Abu Musab al-Zarqawi, and he began winning this fight against this terrorism in Iraq. And these accomplishments that he has so far, it actually holds lessons for all kinds of organizations who are struggling with unconventional changes in environments today. So if I give you a one sentence summary of Team of Teams, although it's very hard to give, but I'll still try. It reveals the incredible power the small teams have to manage the difficult and complicated issues. Remember, Bogalaka spoke about VUCA world, right? Everything is difficult and complicated right now. It's so much of uncertainties there. You could already see, post-COVID times, we could see how uncertain this world has become. So looking at all those complications, Team of Teams is actually the answer to all of this. So it reveals the incredible power that these teams can have. And they are able to manage the difficult and complicated situations that arise in every company, and how large organizations can take advantage of them by building a system of many teams that work together. And this book is, by the way, available online. If you really want to go ahead and give it a read, just do it because it's very eye-opening. Right, now let's come and let's touch the second aspect of mindset, that is growth mindset over fixed mindset. Now let's understand this thing with an example here. Imagine an employee with fixed mindset, he is being promoted to a managerial role for the very first time. Now, while this employee was a great contributor, he's still struggling to adjust, to the additional responsibilities that come with. So instead of recognizing this as a part of transition process, he gets discouraged. And to avoid feeling like a failure, what he does, he refuses to ask for help and shirks any kind of responsibilities. And he does not, thinking that he will not excel at it. As a result, what happens, this employee sees little or no progress with his managerial skills. So this person is coming with a fixed mindset. Now let's imagine the same example, but this time with an employee with a growth mindset. What this person will do, while this individual is facing the same challenge as the person with a fixed mindset, he views this transition period very differently. So instead of shying away from the obstacles, he views this as an opportunity to learn. And instead of getting afraid to ask for help, he is actually going ahead and asking more experienced colleagues for help. And in a few short months, he sees huge improvement and is one of the top performing managers of his department. You could see the kind of difference this mindset has made to both these individuals. So a growth mindset is actually very essential for nurturing innovation and willingness to take risks at the company level. It's very important, when individuals start believing and following a growth mindset, they look at long-term possibilities. And this concept of growth mindset, it was popularized by Carol Dweck. She is a Stanford University psychologist, and research has shown that individuals with growth mindset, they tend to be more resilient and successful in various areas of life. That's how it is. There are so many videos available on YouTube. You can go ahead and watch what Carol Dweck has actually talked about when it comes to growth mindset. What is the kind of research she has done in her life with this growth mindset? It's very interesting, trust me. And you will also receive a handout from us in a day or two, which includes the topic covered in the webinar today and some self-assessment tests for you to reflect upon. Some of them will actually help you to understand what kind of mindset you have. Right? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay, fine, you have already. Thank you, Teju. Now let's talk about command and control culture. So this is the type of culture, command and control culture, that leaders are working with today. And in organizations where this style dominates, command and control, employees are actually expected to follow the orders, stick to the protocols. And people don't entertain any of the questions, whatever said is to be done. In command and control culture, people get ahead by demonstrating competence and hiding failures. You could see, the kind of culture it's there within this organization. Open conversations with supervisors, your superiors, are rare, especially when they're about challenges and the weak points, be it of the employees, be it of the organization. On the other hand, a coaching culture, it fosters openness and trust between employees and leaders. And people are still expected, to meet performance expectations. But at the same time, concerns and issues, they can be tabled without fear of being judged. And it is very important for the managers to have this coaching mindset today. They should create a safe and open environment so that when employees need help, they feel more comfortable going to their coach. And this can actually help, improve employee performance, which ultimately benefits to the success of the company. You could see see change in the performance of the employee and the organization if you work with this kind of a mindset. Over to next slide, Teju, please. Right. Now let's talk about trans-cultural competence over cultural competence. Cultural competence is nothing but the ability of a person to effectively interact, work, or develop meaningful relationship within the people from their own culture. But when it comes to trans-cultural competence, it's nothing but the ability to understand, appreciate, interact with people from different cultures. So individuals are better able to accomplish goals in a more respectful and effective way, no matter what the cultural context of the other person is. So here, when we talk of trans-cultural competence, emphasis is majorly on 4 aspects. Recognition. How well can an individual recognize the cultural difference around him or her? Secondly, respect. How respectful can the individual be about those cultural differences? Thirdly, reconciliation. How competent is the individual to reconcile those cultural differences? And last but not the least, realization. How competent can he become to realize the necessary actions to implement the reconciliation of the cultural difference? Right? Kind of a food for thought for all of you also. I don't know how many of you are actually facing this cultural competence, you possess this, or maybe you could see somebody, in your own organization who demonstrate this kind of trans-cultural competence. I would really love to hear if you have any such kind of experience where you could see your organization or maybe your seniors demonstrating this thing with employees. And if there is such an example, I would love to hear from you post this session when we enter the question answer session. Right. So at this point of time, Teju, do you have a mentee for everybody?
Yes, Sarika, we do have.
All right. So we have one activity for you. It will be done on a tool called Mentimeter. Teju will share the link with you. You have to go ahead and click on that link. By clicking on that link, you will actually enter the Mentimeter, and there is a code that is to be entered that Teju will share with all of you. Teju, have you shared the link?
Yes, Sarika, I have shared it. I hope you're able to see this.
You can use the chat box and tell us whether you are able to join the link or not. You could see on the top of the screen, yes, it's menti.com. Teju is already. You cannot, Bogalaka, please try again. And the code that you need to fill in there, it's 26552012. If you're facing any kind of challenge, please mention it in the chat box. I hope you're able to join now, Bogalaka. Or are you still facing the issue? Okay, that's great.
Okay, here in this activity, you have to select among the given statements which statement describes a growth mindset and which one describes the fixed mindset according to you.
Thanks. Somebody has responded to this. What about the rest?
We can see the responses coming in, Sarika.
Okay, yes. Okay, Bogalaka, you have submitted your response too. Okay. Fine. So we could see, somebody with a fixed mindset, he thinks that things are too challenging. And somebody with growth mindset thinks, he's always up for challenge. Yes. He'll try again, as failure is learning. Yes, absolutely right. Rejection scares me is somebody's perspective who is coming with the fixed mindset. And somebody who is coming with the growth mindset, he will be up, and ready to do better so that he can learn and try to make things better in his life. Right, that's right. And I'm just too bad at it and I don't care is the, characteristic of a person coming with a fixed mindset. And I define on my own what success means is the characteristic of a person coming with a growth mindset. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everybody. Those who participated in this. Right.
I'll open up another presentation here. You can log into the same.
So the code remains the same, Teju,
Yes,
and you are sharing one more activity with them.
Yes.
Okay.
Hope you're able to see the screen.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay. In this activity, and in today's VUCA world, which APF manifesto do you think is most important for people operations function? According to your priority, which one would be you would be ranking on the first?
So we talked about team of teams here. We talked about growth mindset. We talked about coaching culture, trans-cultural competence. Which one of these do you think works best, for your organization in order of priority? Okay. Okay. With more people joining in, Teju, the chart keeps on changing.
Yes.
So right now, growth mindset is on the top.
Priority.
Okay, so do we have any more responses in there? I could see only 3 people have joined. And Okay, fine. Again, growth mindset has topped the list, followed by coaching culture, then team of teams, and last but not the least, transcultural competence. All right. That gives us a fair good idea of how things are, as far as your own country is concerned, or the place of work where you guys are working right now is concerned. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for the response. Thanks, Teju. Right. Could you please move further, Teju? Right. Thank you so much. Now, after Manifesto, let's talk about APF values. Now, what exactly values are? Values are fundamental beliefs of any organization, and they drive the culture. They guide the employees in identifying what is right, what is wrong. It gives you a sense of direction. So, all in all, you can say values are the things that you believe are important in the way you live and work. And here also, we'll talk about 6 APF values. One is open communication, then another one is feedback, then commitment, then courage, respect, and adaptability. Let's talk about the very first one, which is open communication. So an example of open communication would be a team meeting. Let's understand this, with an example. It could be a team meeting in which all members are encouraged to express their thoughts and ideas freely without the fear of any kind of judgment or retaliation. And the leader of that meeting, this is something very important. The leader of that meeting actively listens to all the members, and he encourages the participation from all the members and their contributions. And he makes sure that everyone's voice is heard and no one is interrupted or talked over. And he also responds to the concerns and questions openly and honestly. And additionally, if any conflicting ideas or feedbacks are there, he is addressing that too in a respectful manner, right? And he's trying to reach out to solutions towards that. That is what open communication is all about. One value that we really advocate and we practice. Secondly, feedback. Now we hear about this feedback thing a lot these days, and there are so many websites. When you go ahead and surf any website, at the end of it, you could be asked, to give a feedback as to how your experience was so far when you visited that website. To the extent when you go to a restaurant, even they come back with a feedback form. How is it that you like the food? Do you like the ambience? What is it that you didn't like? What is it that you would like us to improve upon? And things like that. So you could see, how important feedback is these days, positive or negative. Feedback gives organizations and teams a chance to improve upon themselves. And feedback culture is one of the best ways, you could say, to raise employee morale and create a positive and happy workplace environment. Because if your employees feel free to always share what they think about the organization, the management, or maybe the other employees, they are more likely to be happy and engaged with your organization. Right? And displaying the same, we'll also ask for a feedback from all of you at the end of this session. Next comes in line, commitment. Now, commitment refers to the dedication and loyalty of employees to goals and objectives of the company. So when employees are committed, they are more likely to work hard, be more productive, and stay with the company for a longer period of time. This, with this everything in place, this can have a positive impact on company's bottom line and overall success. A very recent example I could think of is of Netflix. Now, the Netflix current CEO, Reed Hastings, he is going to hand over the reins to long-term partner and co-CEO Ted Sarandos and Chief Operating Officer Greg Peters, who is also, co-CEO of the same organization. Why is he doing that? After watching their performance for the last 2.5 years, in one of his interviews, he has told he really appreciates the kind of commitment these two persons have displayed. And that is the only reason what made him decide, this way. Now, Reed will actually be the chairman of this organization, and Sharon Dawes and Greg Peters, they'll be the CEOs. So that's how it is. This is what the importance of commitment is. And this is what happens when you display it. Now, next one is courage. Now, all team members should display this courage. They should come forward and speak. We could hardly see this, happening in our organization. You could see example, there are situations when there's a situation at workplace, for example, people will think, why is it that we should go ahead and talk about it? What will the senior leadership think if we talk in a negative manner, if we see something negative happening? Let's stay quiet, let's keep mum, let's not share. So whosoever is interested, he can go ahead and talk about it, but I will not. So this is not how things work. People should have the courage to voice their opinion. They should go ahead and talk about it if they see something unacceptable being happening in this organization. Right. Next comes respect. Respecting what? We have to be respectful and mindful of the kind of skills, capabilities, thoughts, creativity that a person is actually bringing to the table. We should always be respectful towards other people's culture, the kind of being that the other person is. Always be respectful with that, because we are working with, with diverse teams. So this is something that really carries a lot of weightage these days. Be respectful towards others. Then comes adaptability. How nimble are we in adapting to new processes and tools and systems in order to improve our work? I read somewhere the words written by head HR Bloomberg that if there is one thing I need to tell everyone to be successful in their lives, it's adaptability. So in this ever-changing world, which was not the same 5 years ago, which will not be the same 5 years from now, I think, we all should agree to this fact that change is the only constant, right? We could see right in front of us, the kind of changes we could see at the workplace. Organizations have adapted to a complete online mode of working during pandemic, and now they're offering hybrid mode. And the fact now is that they can hire people across the globe. Employees get to have a better work-life balance. So this is the kind of change that you could see, and the adaptability that organizations have displayed. Teju, at this stage, when we are through with this values, do you have another mentee activity for everyone?
Yes, Sarika, we do have one activity for values. Yeah, I'll be sharing this now.
So mentee link remains the same. The code will change this time. So you have to go ahead and click on the mentee.com, and the code is 14561793.
Yes, I've shared it in the chat box as well.
Okay, thank you, Teju. And the question is, which APF value does your organization follow? Is it open communication, feedback, commitment, courage, respect, adaptability, or none? Okay. Okay, fine. So we could see, organizations following open communication, commitment, and respect, followed by feedback, courage, and adaptability at the same level. Okay, do we have some more responses in there? Tell us if you're not able to join the link.
You can also use the chat box if in case you're not able to join Menti.
Absolutely, yes. Okay, if we don't have any, thank you so much for your response here. So we could see, okay, fine, Teju. No problem, Teju. Let's move on to the slide. Okay. Thank you. So now let's talk about value realization. What happens or what could you expect when you embrace an agile mindset? Firstly, cross-functional collaboration happens. When cross-functional collaboration happens, different teams in an organization, they collaborate on a common project or a goal. You could witness, breaking down of silos and departments working alongside instead of working against each other. That is what you could see. The various functions, they become more productive and create a more enjoyable workplace. And with this cross-functional collaboration in place, you will see co-creation happening. That is what co-creation is what? Developing new products and services together with customers, partners, and stakeholders, leading to innovative ideas and improved services. This is first thing that you could see that it will happen. Secondly, you are able to streamline the process and simplify it. Now, this is done by eliminating unnecessary work-related tasks to improve the efficiency and the process in business or the organization. This could be done, with the help of agile tools. So, coming over to you again, Bogolaka, you said some of your friends are interested in talent acquisition and what is it that they could do the agile way. So when we talk of talent acquisition, and we are talking about this eliminating of waste or lean, Bogolaka also shared something on lean with you. There are certain agile HR tools that we use. We also use those tools in cultural legends for talent acquisition purpose. So usually what people do is when they come across, the candidate, suppose a recruiter is hiring some candidates and he wants to create that database. What they do is they try to make the database in MS Excel or maybe in any other format, which is a traditional way of doing things. But when we talk of agile HR tools, we use a tool wherein each and everything is there in the form of a card. So every candidate has a card, dedicated card for himself. And everybody, right from the recruiter till the final onboarder, everybody is a member of that card. They could see, how things are proceeding as far as the candidate is concerned. Day one, the candidate was contacted. Everything gets updated in that card, right? Day two, he responded or rejected, accepted or rejected the offer. What exactly is it? Everything is being updated. Suppose in case he has accepted the offer, he'll go ahead and he'll be interviewed for the initial round. What is it that, what are the questions that were being asked? What are the responses that were being given by the candidate? In case he crosses the first round, then he goes ahead and, uh, he has to go through the final round of interview. Then what exactly was being asked by the final interviewer? What are the responses that were being given by the candidate at this point of time? What was the final decision being taken by the final round interviewer, whether he was allowed to onboard or not? In case he is allowed to onboard, then his card goes to onboarding. And then in case he gets rejected, then this card is being shifted to rejected column. So that's how it is. And this tool makes things much more easier to work on. And you could see, at what stage the candidate is right now, in case you want to go ahead and find out about a particular candidate, which is really a hell of a task when it comes to MS Excel. You have to go through a lot of data. There are a lot of columns and rows which you have to go through and find out the candidate from. So these are the kind of tools that we use when we talk of talent acquisition. And here, some more things that you could do when it comes to streamlining the process. In HR, we could see, over processing of over documentation, over processing of data, entering data into more than one systems, which lead to high time cost, unnecessary handoffs, approvals, signature from management or staff, keeping both hard and electronic copies of everything. All this can be reduced and effort and time could be spent, on some other important work that needs to be done. But the condition is you have to learn, how to do things the agile way, how to use these agile HR tools, right? Then it encourages the value-driven culture. Employees, they find alignment between their personal and organizational values, creating a unified and motivated workforce. So management and leadership, they have to set an example for the organizations and live the values that they preach. So it's kind of a win-win situation for both of them. And when it comes to having those meetings, short and frequent meetings or cadences, increases a team's momentum, something that we follow at Cultural Legends, we follow at APF, and this helps improving your work a lot. It increases your productivity. Setting the appropriate cadence ensures, a balance between individual productivity and group updates on the projects. And what this involves the assessment of current process products and services to ensure a better output, which could be maximized and waste could be minimized. But this continuous improvement, this is not a one-time thing that the company performs and then forgets. This is something that you have to, perform again and again in a continuous manner. It's a method that becomes a part of a business's ongoing operations. You could actually consider it to be a way of life rather than something you might try even once. And this whole system of working, the short and frequent meetings or cadences, it benefits internal and external stakeholders. It benefits employees. It benefits investors. It benefits customers, everybody alike. So that's how it is. And then lastly, how to build successful human-centered experience. Everybody talks about a human-centered approach, right? How is it that we could do it? There are a few things that have to be kept in mind. First is empathy. We need to genuinely care about people we design for, or we build some procedures for. When it comes to HR, maybe we are designing some kind of manual for our employees. So we really genuinely need to care about those people, build that empathy by immersing yourself in the community that will use this product, right? Secondly, creativity. We need to find creative ways to solve users' problems. Now, who could be the users in case of HR, in case of people operations? It could be the organizations you are doing training or maybe consultation for, right? Maybe you are in staffing business and you are recruiting for some other third party, the organizations you are working with. It could be stakeholders, it could be your own employees, or it could be people, the candidates you are reaching out to, right? So you need to make your product commercially successful. So many of these leading organizations that we talk about today are putting more thought and resources into delivering a better overall customer experience. And when it comes to when these experiences are more positive, they are more likely to return back as customers, especially in case of talent acquisition. It's very important. So companies that deliver high quality of customer experience, they routinely outperform their competition. You could see, if you think of Spotify, there were days when we used to pay to listen to our favorite song on Spotify. But when they could see, things getting changed, they evolved themselves. And now everything is available for free. So here also, again, we are talking about customer experience. Now you can hear your songs on a click of a button. Now they're not charging anything from anybody at all. So that's how it is. Okay, with this, value realization is over. Let's move on to the next slide, Teju. Okay. And lastly, you see, it's time for you to reflect, or you could also say it's kind of food for thought for all of you. You know that the role is elevated. There are new opportunities that you could grab. So now it is for you to get into that introspective mode as to how you can be that change champion in your own organization and teams, right? How you can bring Agile into practice, how you can create that awareness towards Agile people operations and make things better with yourself, with your own organization. And in case you need any kind of help or support, we are always there and we'll be more than happy to provide that to you. Anything that you would like to add, Bogalaka, here? Teju or Bogalaka, any one of you? Would you like to add anything?
I guess nothing from my end to be added. Maybe
Okay.
Boglaka, you would like to add anything?
I would like to thank the participants who joined, and please come to us if you have any questions. And we have groups for Germany. We have also global community, and we are happy to help you.
Thanks, Bogalaka. So with this, we are over with this presentation for today. Over to question and answer session now, right, Teju?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Boglarka and Sarika, for the wonderful session. So now let's go ahead and start the question and answer session. So everyone, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box, or you can also raise your hand and unmute yourself, and you can ask the questions. Yes,
Yes,
Mona, your hand has been raised. You can please feel free to ask your question.
All right. Well, actually, it's not a question. It's just I wanted to add one more point with regards of Boglaka point about using the agile techniques or methodologies for talent acquisition, which Sarika thankfully have mentioned most of the process. Just one more point I would like to add. So if the time is okay with you guys.
absolutely. Please go ahead.
All right. So in addition to Boglaka, do you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, all right. So in addition to what mentioned by Sarika about the what the methods can be used from agile into talent acquisition, one more point actually. Let's say that particular organization, they're having frequent hiring for certain job families. Okay, so to be more agile, always in addition to the agile methods which mentioned by Sarika, always need to keep a pipeline for those frequent required jobs in order to be more agile and fasten away or get more advanced than the business needs, in order to, whenever you get a business fulfillment or needs for certain type of the jobs, that already you're having the pipeline and people on a standby basis.
Absolutely, yes, yes. And this could also be done motive with the help of certain tools that we have in Agile HR, right? So that's how it is. When it comes to a daily feedback or cadences that I was talking about, you know, there is a one more tool that we use at Cultelligence when it comes to cadences, when it comes to taking daily feedbacks from your own team. So this is the kind of work that make things, you know, make our teams much more nimble, and they could ease the work for the scrum masters or the team leaders too. By using those tools, they can actually see how things are. Because these days, Motive, you could see, it's not that everybody is working offline. People have gone into a hybrid mode. So many of the employees, they are working in online mode. So it's very important for the team leader to keep a tab of each and everybody in his team who is working, right? And it's they have to have certain, powerful tools with them to work on. Right. Thank you so much, Motive, for sharing that.
Thank you,
Any-
Sarika. It was amazing, actually. Fulfilling information at the same time, refreshing for me, So thank you, teacher, for getting me into the webinar.
Thank you so much. We are so happy to have you with us here.
Same here, Sarika.
Any other question from anybody else here? See, there is no right and wrong question.
only
There is
question,
open
yes.
forum, and we are into a discussion mode. So it's not that I know everything or Buglaka knows everything. It's not like that. We are open to your, suggestions, opinions, anything that you would like to discuss here. In case you can't think of any question right now, please don't hesitate in sharing your questions with Bogalaka and Teju post the completion of this session. We'll be glad to answer your queries. Thank you, Chimya. I'm glad, it was of some help to you and you get at least some understanding of what exactly Agile HR is all about. Although it's a subject in itself, it's very hard to squeeze this whole topic in, in few minutes, but we have tried our level best.
Sarika, we have one question in the chat box about coaching culture. What is the best time and the smooth method?
It's not a one-time thing, Ramol. Okay, Ramol, tell me, what exactly is it that you face when it comes to coaching culture? How are things at your end in the organization that you're working with right now?
Hello. My question is about coaching culture. As we know, that Agile is a method. It's a philosophy. It's like an umbrella that it's gained a lot of arts of management.
Absolutely.
What I'm facing with my employees here in my work, that's choosing the right time to make the coaching of the Agile or the methodology, and how to give the information and the method of this, how do you say, information.
Okay,
it's kind
fine.
of the communication between the employees.
I got it. So tell me, Ramul, you are asking what could be the best time a supervisor or maybe a manager can give this coaching to the team members. Is it what you're asking?
Thank you. Exactly.
No problem. So, Ramul, it's not, a time-based kind of a thing. I'm talking about, I've right now talked about cadences, short and frequent meetings, right? This is something that we practice at Cultural Intelligence and APF. So what we do is we go ahead and get into daily huddles. Now here I'm talking specifically of talent acquisition. The team that we have is diverse. We are a multicultural organization. So we have a big team from India. We have people from South Africa. We have people from Tanzania, Algeria, Nigeria, Kenya, Zimbabwe, and Taiwan, and 2-3 more countries, right? So that's the kind of diversity that we have at Cultural Intelligence. Now, for somebody who is working as a team leader here, and the whole team is working online, it's very difficult to keep a tab. That is what I was discussing with Motive. It's very difficult to keep a tab as to what each and every team member who are based out of various locations, they are doing. So what we do is we go ahead and get into these daily huddles. Whole team, they keep a specific time for a meeting. They go ahead and join those daily huddles. They talk. What is it that they do well? What is it that didn't go well? What is it that they need to improve upon? What is it that they have done today? And this person, the team leader, or maybe in some cases manager, because here, you sometimes you have to change hats. So this person goes ahead and guides the team on a daily basis as to how things should be. If they are making any mistakes, if they are facing any blockers, the team members, right? He goes ahead and resolves those blockers. He goes ahead and resolves those problems, tries to make them understand how things should be when it comes to working. What are the mistakes that the other member is facing? Because everybody is there in the team. So you can even learn from your mistakes and from the mistakes that the other team member has made. So you can be proactive not to make those mistakes later on, right? So this, coaching culture, it's not a one-time thing. It has to be practiced daily. And this manager has to go ahead. If not daily, you see, Ramol, they can go ahead and get into these huddles on a alternate days, right? Try to understand what is the team up to, what is the kind of productivity, what are the blockers that all the team members are facing, right? And try to resolve them. And in the process, it's not that HR has to go ahead and do this coaching for everybody. Every manager has to play the role of a coach, right? This is something very important. I think Motip can throw some more light on this.
Thank you so much for the clarification. Thank you.
Thanks, Ramol. Thanks, Ramol.
I agree with you, Sarika. Actually, when we build up when we do a coaching culture building, that it's not the job of HR or people operations. It's the job of every, let's say, vice president, general manager, director, up to supervisor who's having a team. It's up to that level where everybody should sit with their staff and open up the communication channel and give the comments and interact with their staff. Usually in all private organizations across the globe, these kind of sessions happens during the performance review and appraisals only. So what we try to enrich the organizations is to have the frequent meeting between the staff and the supervisor or the line manager in order to be aligned for the KPIs, for the business needs, whatever they might have some stoppers that comes only when we are questioning the staff.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope that answers your question, Ramu.
Yeah, no. Thank you for everything. It's clear now.
Thanks, Ramul. And by the way, Ramul, there are certain coaching methods that people follow. In case you want us to share that with you, we'll be more than glad to do that.
That's so very
Yeah,
interesting.
there are certain, sure,
Yeah,
definitely. There are certain powerful questions that you might ask to your team when you're trying to coach them. Because this is something, that doesn't come to us naturally. But once we are, it's who, what, where, why, and how. And there's a very beautiful poem also written by Rudyard Kipling on this, which I don't remember right now. I think you must, you should be able to find it on net. So these are some of the questions that we need to ask to our team members and try to coach them based on their answers to these questions. Right? So whatever I have, I'll share with you what powerful questions you might go ahead and ask your team members and try to coach them in a positive way.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I will do. Do we have any more questions?
Any more questions from anyone else?
Oh, I could see Laura is also here in this session.
Yes, Sarika.
Okay.
I think it's early morning now in Cordoba, where Laura stays.
Yes, yes. Anything from your end, Bogalaka, Chimya, Laura? Okay, your voice is not audible. It's breaking. Okay, I think there is some issue at your end. Okay, no worries. So Teju, if you don't have any more questions, okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. Yeah,
Yes.
please. Yeah.
Yes, thank you so
Yes.
much, everyone, once again for taking time out of the busy schedule and joining us today. We were glad to meet you all. And I would like to inform you that you will receive a feedback form in the email. Please do share your feedback with us so that we can improve ourselves. And we will also share the recording of the session with all the participants who have done the RSVP. And also, we'll be uploading it on the YouTube channel. So we will be meeting again in the month of April 25th, 2023 for our next webinar. And before that, as you can see on the screen, we have mentioned post-webinar activity you will be receiving in the next month, in the last week of the next month, February, and which will help you. A small activity would be given in the a post-webinar activity would be shared, and also you will be receiving a handout for which Sarika have mentioned in the webinar in between. And we have also mentioned our LinkedIn group here, and it is especially for Germany. You can also join the LinkedIn group and you can stay connected with us and get the updates regularly. So I would like to thank you all once again for joining us today. Have a lovely day. Meet you all once again.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.